Assalamu alaikum dear students. We are discussing trigonometric equations, and in previous lecture we discussed the general and principal solutions for sine x equals to sine y. Now today we are going to discuss this equation. If tan x equals to tan y, we have to find the relation between x and y. Here if we treat x to be variable and y to be constant or the fixed number, then we have to find the relation between x and y in general. Now here tan x equals to tan y. This implies that while converting this tan into sine and cos, it is sine x upon cos x equals to sine y upon cos y. Now by cross multiplication, it is simply sine x cos y equals to cos x sine y, or sine x into cos y minus cos x into sine y equals to 0. Now if we put x to be a, y to be b, it is sine a cos b minus cos a sine e, which is simply sine x minus y. So sine x minus y equals to 0, because sine x minus y is sine x cos y minus cos x sine y. You also know that if sine x is 0 or sine a is 0, if and only if a equals to n pi. So here this x minus y is n pi, where n belongs to integer, because sine is 0 at n pi values. Hence x equals to n pi plus y. So this means that this x equals to n pi plus y is the general solution. Because it contains n, it contains the numbers. Similarly, you can find it is principal solution by putting the particular values of n, like 0, 1, -1, -2, and if that value lies in the interval 0 and 2 pi, you can say that it is the general principal solution. So simply we can say that if tan x equals to tan y, then x equals to n pi plus y is the solution for this equation. Similarly, if cos x equals to cos y, we have to find the relation between x and y, or simply we have to find the values of x, where at which this equation is satisfied. Now cos x equals to cos y implies cos x minus cos y is 0. So using cos x minus cos y identity here, it is simply minus 2y sine x plus y upon 2 into sine x minus y upon 2. So this means that here the product of this is 0, minus 2 is not 0. So simply we can say that either sine x plus y by 2 is 0 or sine x minus y by 2 is 0. When sine x plus y by 2 is 0, implies that this angle x plus y upon 2 is n pi, because sine is 0 only at n pi. Or when this x minus y upon 2 is 0, implies that x minus y upon 2 is n pi. By cross multiplication, it is x plus y equals to 2n pi, x minus y equals to 2n pi. So we can simply say that x equals to 2n pi, either y is positive or negative. So this means that we can simply say that it is x equals to 2n pi plus minus y, where n belongs to the integer, where n is an integer. So this is the required solution for this equation. That is, when cos x is cos y, implies that x equals to 2n pi plus minus y, where n is integer. So this is the general solution. Similarly, you can find its principal solution by putting n equals to some particular numbers, and if that, after putting the particular value or the fixed value of n, if that lies in the interval 0 and 2 pi, then that is the principal solution. Now let's consider the question is, if sine x equals to root 3 upon 2, we have to find its principal and the general solution. You know that the value of this sine pi by 3 is root 3 by 2, because this is a standard angle, its value is root 3 by 2. So this means that this sin x equals to root 3 by 2 simply implies as that it is actually sin x equals to sin pi by 3. Now using here sin x equals to sin y, you know that x equals to n pi minus 1 raised power y. So this means that here x is x, y is pi by 3. So from first two we can say that x equals to n pi plus minus 1 raised power n pi by 3, because here y is pi upon pi upon 3. So this is the general solution because it contains n. So if sin x equals to root 3 by 2, it implies that x equals to n pi plus minus 1 raised n pi upon 3. Now how to find the principal solution is. Now if n is 0, this implies that putting n equals to 0 in this equation, here if we put n equals to 0 here, this equals to 0, so it is simply x equals to pi upon 3, because minus 1 raised 0 is 1, so it is simply pi upon 3. Here pi upon 3 belongs to interval 0 and 2 pi. So this means that x equals to pi by 3 is the principal solution. Similarly, if we put n equals to 1 in the given equation, it is simply, here n is 1, it is pi, minus 1 raised 1 is minus 1, it is minus pi by 3, that is 2 pi by 3. Here the value of this 2 pi by 3 is simply, it belongs to interval 0 and 2 pi, closed from 0 and open from this 2 pi. So this means that also this is the principal solution for sin x equals to root 3 by 2. Root 3 by 2. Now if we put n equals to, suppose 2, it is 2 pi plus minus 1 raised power here, n equals to 2, it is 2 pi plus minus 1 raised power 2, that is plus pi by 3, that is 2 pi plus pi by 3. So this means that its value is greater than 2 pi, hence it does not belongs to this interval. So this means that if we put n equals to 2, 3, 4, the value lies outside this interval, hence at these values of n, the principal value does not exist. So this means that we can only say that these are the only two principal values for this equation, while as x equals to n pi plus minus 1 raised power n pi by 3 is the general solution. Now here you can also put n equals to minus 1 here, so it is minus pi minus 1 raised power minus 1 is again minus 1, so minus pi plus minus pi by 3, that is simply minus something, it is minus something. But here this angle, this interval does not belong, there does not exist any negative number or negative angle, hence for at negative numbers of n or the at negative values of n, the principal value does not exist. It exists only at n equals to 0 and n equals to 1. Now we have to find, the another question is, we have to find the principal and the general solutions for this equation, for this tan x equals to 1. You know that the value of the tan 1 is, for this tan is tan pi by 4, or tan pi by 4 is 1. So this means that this tan x equals to 1 implies tan x is actually tan pi by 4. Using this, we know that tan x is tan y if and only if x equals to n pi plus y. So here y is pi upon 4, so this means that x equals to n pi plus pi by 4 is the only general solution, or simply the general solution. Now how to find the principal solutions? For n equals to 1, the value of x is pi by 4. For n equals to 0, value is pi by 4. For n equals to 1, value is pi plus pi by 4, that is 5 pi by 4, which also belongs to this interval 0 and 2 pi, because pi by 4 is 45 plus 180. Its value is less than 360, that is why it is a principal solution. Now if we put, suppose n equals to 2, it is 2 pi plus something, that is 2, the value of this at n equals to 2 is greater than 2 pi, so it does not belongs to this interval. Similarly for negative numbers, it does not, that number does not belongs to this interval because it contains, only the positive numbers. Hence, pi by 4 and 5 pi by 4, they belongs to this interval. They also satisfies this tan x equals to 1. They are the only principal solutions, while as x equals to n pi plus pi by 4 is the general solution. Inshallah, in tomorrow's lecture we will discuss, the exercise in this regard. So thank you.